Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today's topic will be one that was suggested by a good friend of mine, Ben, shout out to you, who suggested that I talk about sort of like the rules of the game, what I think of a few of them, and ones that aren't so good, and what can be done to change those rules and make them better. So there's a few ones that I'm going to talk about. First one is the deliberate out of bounds rule. Second one is holding the ball / holding the man, like sort of the holding rules, and got a bit of an extra snippet for that one. Next one is taking out the legs. Next one is third man up. And next one is the protected zone, going in the protected zone. So basically I'll be going through each rule, saying what it is and whether it's a good rule, bad rule, that kind of stuff. So first we'll go through deliberate. So basically the deliberate rule, for those who don't know, is when a player kicks the ball, handballs the ball, or whatever, gets it out legally, like disposes of it legally, then it goes out of bounds, and the umpire calls deliberate because they have put the ball out of bounds intentionally and without sufficient pressure on them. So without someone being right there, an opponent being right there trying to tackle them or bump them or something. Next rule is holding the ball / holding the man. So we'll go holding the ball. This one is when a player is tackled and although they had prior opportunity, they don't get the ball out in insufficient time or in a sufficient manner. Next one, holding the man, is basically pretty simple. Holding a player when they don't have the ball. That's pretty much all it is. Next one is taking out the legs. So this one is when a player slides in and there's an opponent standing up, leaning over to get the ball, and an opponent slides in and takes out the legs, hence taking out the legs. Hitting the legs or sliding into the legs so they fall over, pretty much. Next one is the third man up rule. So what it is here is there's only allowed to be one player from each team going for for each ruck contest. So they must put their hand up when the umpire asks who's in, and then only those two players are allowed to contest the ruck. If another person comes up and taps the ball or something, then that is a free kick to the other team. And finally, the one that I'm going to talk about, which probably most teams do, to be honest, is the protected zone. So in this rule, when a player has the ball after taking a mark and they haven't played on yet, if an opponent comes within 5 meters of their of the person with the ball, that player gets a 50-meter penalty. So they get to go 50 meters closer to their goal. Now, all of these rules, I'm getting a bit, these rules are a bit frustrating at times. Honestly, in several cases that have happened this year, these rules, in the interpretation that have been explained, like with from the umpires within the rules before the season, in that interpretation, some of these calls, some of these free kicks just haven't been paid quite a bit, actually, to be honest. Like for deliberate out of bounds, as I said, you have to be seen to deliberately kick it out of bounds or get it out of bounds somehow without sufficient pressure from the opponent. But it's happened several times this year, and a couple of years that this has been in, or the last few years, that a player has kicked it downfield, it's gone, 40, 50 metres, and it's just trickled out of bounds. That's not a free kick, but several times that has been called as a free kick. But that's just incorrect. Blatantly, that's incorrect. You can't penalise someone for kicking it 40 metres and for it to go out of bounds. Like, it's clear that they weren't intending for it to be out of bounds unless, they're in the centre square and they kick it towards the boundary and they just turn around and kick it out. That's fine, yeah. But when they're kicking it towards their end, absolutely roosting it 40, 50, 60 metres, and it trickles out of bounds, that cannot be a free kick. 0 days of the week, that's a free kick. Because it can just bounce out of bounds. It's an irregular shaped ball, so it can easily bounce on the wrong end and trickle out of bounds. Like, you can't pay that as a free kick. Holding the ball, holding the man, this is really frustrating. But the thing that I'll focus on more is holding the man. And when two players are in a marking contest, jostling with each other, pushing each other out, when the umpire somehow gets a free kick, pulls a free kick out of a marking contest where both players are holding each other, like, you can't have that as a free kick because they're holding each other. Like, who's to say that person A is holding more than person B when they're both holding? I mean, sometimes it's fine because if someone gets them high, and that's fine. That's a free kick. Pay it every day of the week. But when they're both holding each other legally, and, one person gets a free kick and one person doesn't, it's just unbelievable. Like, how can you... And even when there's a big pack of people, 8 or 10 people, both all coming in for the ball, you can't pull a free kick out of that because you just cannot genuinely see that, yes, that exact thing is a free kick. Like, you just can't when there's so many people in a contest. You just can't do that. Next is taking out the legs. This frustrates a lot of people because in a lot of cases, the person sliding in has clearly just gone for the ball, completely gone for the ball, and has just hit their legs, the opponent's legs with their leg or something, or their foot or something, and it's been given a free kick. Like, there's no malice towards it, no intention to take out the legs. Show intention to take out the legs, free kick every day of the week, that's fine. But when you're going for the ball, when you accidentally knock their legs, like, that can't be a free kick. So, because that's your instinct. You see the ball there, you go for the ball. And if you accidentally hit them, what are you going to do? Just not go for the ball? Then you're going to get an earful by your coach. Every time. So, that's just crazy. Third man up, I really think as many people can go for the ruck as they want, in my opinion, as long as they're all doing it legally. If one team has 4, one team has 3, then that's the team who has 3, it's their fault for not getting an extra person. If they're all doing it legally, if they're not holding each other, they're not getting each other around the neck or high or anything, and they're literally just jostling, not pushing in the back, just normal jostling, I see no problem with there being 6 guys instead of 2. Well, the rule's 2, but I don't mind there being 6. I really don't mind. But obviously, if you disagree, down in the comments. Next one, final one, is the protected zone. This is the one that really gets on my nerves and gets on a lot of people's nerves. If you take one step inside the protected zone, and it's clear that you have no intention to actually try and smother the ball, you don't run through the mark, you just take a step in, that's not a free kick. Like, if you're just, running alongside, following your player, that's following your opponent, that's not a free kick. Like, it shouldn't be a free kick. You shouldn't be penalised for following your player if you have no intention of illegally trying to get the ball off the person who has the ball. Like, you just shouldn't pay that. As I said, you shouldn't penalise person for going for the ball. As I said earlier in taking out the legs, it's exactly the same thing. Like, you shouldn't. Anyway, now there's one more thing I will say that as I said before, I'll be talking about a way to fix these rules. So basically, the way that I've come up with is say what you want the rule to be. I don't care what you want the rule to be, whatever it is, just explain it. Explain what the rule is. Make sure everyone's aware. And if someone breaks that rule, call it. Free kick every single time. The biggest problem with all of these rules is inconsistency. Paying one, and then 10 minutes later, the same thing happens and they don't pay it. Like what's wrong there? Like, what's the problem? Why wasn't the second one paid? Why was the first one paid and the second one's not? I understand that umpires, they're human, of course. They make mistakes, some things they don't see, and that's fine. It's perfectly fine. But at the moment, it just happens far too much, where one is paid and another one's not. You can't put all of the ones that aren't paid down to the umpire not seeing them. Like, it just happens far too much for my liking, to be honest. And that just needs to change. Just say what the rule is, whatever it is. I really don't care. Say what the rule is. If someone follows it, pay it every time, within reason, of course. So that is my video for today. Thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe. Comment down below some of the topics you want me to talk about next. And I will see you guys in the next one. Alright, thanks guys.